This is Drake Callender, and you've been listening to the Inter Miami Podcast.
Six! It's 2 for Miami! Damian Lowell doubles the lead! Some days you can just sense something wicked. This way it comes.
Are you ready to release your inhibitions? Feel the rain on your skin? No one else can do it for you. Only you can let it in.
I don't want to.
Gots to. I'm in a good mood. It was a good night. Late night. Good night. All in the same. Welcome, everybody, to the Inter Miami Podcast. I am Jay Kington, joined by, as always, Mr. Than Harrington. How are you holding up?
I was good until you tried to force unwavering positivity out of me right there. Like, that's one of my least favorite songs of all time. So
I've never met anyone that loves that song. Check that. A lot of females do. I'm going to be honest. That was the song to, like, the Hills, right? Wherever Kristen Cavallari got famous, I think, or is that Laguna Beach? Who knows? One of those things. Probably dating ourselves. I haven't even bringing that up. I heard you had a fun day.
Yeah. Cleaning up messes at work. You know, the good old inability of people to do the correct thing at the right time and doing all the wrong things at the wrong time. So kind of like our defense last year. But hey, who am I to judge?
Shout out all of our forklift drivers. I'm sure we got a couple. Stay safe out there, forklift drivers. It's a dangerous world. But man, you know what? We love recording episodes coming off a win, and here we go. First ever Concacaf Champions Cup, and our first ever appearance in this rebranded tournament. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like the Champions League feeling better, but hey. Last night, beautiful performance, different ambiance, you know, kind of low-key different. Like even like post-game, I was like, damn, man, these like backdrops, these CONCACAF backdrops are nice. Like this CONCACAF lanyard I got is really nice. It just felt a little different, but, you know, midweek games can be tough because a lot of individuals obviously work till 5, sometimes 6, and then have to make the trek up from Miami. So a lot of times on midweek games, you're going to see a little bit less of the crowd out there. It certainly started out, I don't know, probably, what am I going to go with here? Probably 3/5, 3/4 full. It started to fill up, though, about midway through the first half as people got in there. But what an excellent night. Can't wait to fall asleep. I'm exhausted. It has been a long night of being up late. Than was sick, so sorry for the delayed episode. Any grievances, you can at Thanimus Maximus, tell him stop being sick, get it together. But in all seriousness, there's something serious going around. So glad you're over and in a better state of mind, I'll say, bud.
Yeah, I do not want to have to lay down in my shower and contemplate what I'm going to be doing ever again. That was the most miserable thing. But the fans aren't here to hear about my bodily illnesses. We're here to talk about that game you already started to allude to.
I know.
I'll tell you what.
I know. I'm getting a little excited.
I know. But I was begging as I'm watching it on TV. I was begging to start hearing the Champions League theme in the back. I was like, come on, baby.
Yeah, so I was dead ass. I was going to, before we started, instead of singing whoever sings that Rain on Your Skin, or Skin, whatever, Rain on Your Skin song, whatever it is, I was going to come in here and just start singing the Champions League song with the hopes that you would just like start picking up like some of the melody with me. Yeah, man, it was, I don't want to get ahead of myself. Structurally wise, because it's an aggregate, we'll talk about it all, but just real quick, let's get the crappy part out of the way. Yep. In between the two legs with Nashville, we did play Montreal. Without Messi, this was a planned Messi rest day, according to Tata. Not because he's injured, there is no injury, right? No, it's just a simple rest day. But either way, had to go up without Messi against some of the homies that used to play us. Who, funny enough, like I messaged everyone last night. I was like, yo, swear to God, I just saw Ari Lassiter when I was leaving last night. So Lassiter, Bryce Duke, they actually stayed in town to watch the Nashville Champions League second leg, which was pretty cool, as well as Waterman. Josef Martinez did not, but the old homies came into town for the game against Montreal. Kind of got out of hand a little quick there. I mean, we've had some success in like the first 10 minutes this season, but by minute 13, Alvarez put one in. Campana drew it up 1-1, and then within 4 minutes, Kokoro made it 2-1, and then 3 more minutes. I mean, to put up 2 goals in 5 minutes after conceding a goal and drawing the match level, I mean, Montreal came out banging. Ibrahim hit that third one, and then we kind of realized, at least I did, that, hey, we're going to be taking an L tonight. Although Jordi Alba comes in with that wicked left foot and probably, I mean, obviously highlight of the game, probably a highlight of the previous 2 games. I mean, he comes in, gets his foot all the way around this ball. Beautiful, beautiful curler, RB all day in FIFA. And he just reminded everybody, why he played at Barcelona for so long, why he represented Spain so well in their international campaigns. That man, although he is a left back, and yes, he's known for getting down, marauding that left side and providing some beautiful crosses in, some passes in, creating some plays and some assists, man, to see him just say, no, it's my turn, and just let that go. Beautiful, beautiful goal. What was that? I mean, obviously that's the highlight of that match, but we don't need to do a deep dive on the loss. But what did you, that one little highlight, what were your thoughts when that happened?
Well, I was jumping off the couch. I just immediately jumped off the couch, fist pumping. Kennedy's screaming next to me. Riley's on his knees, like fist pumping, because he wants to hit one of those balls like no other.
We all do.
If you play the game, that's what you want to do. It was a fantastic goal from Jordy. He's doing more than I personally, for me, he's doing more than I think we expected him to do. He's scoring. He's being the playmaker. He's playing more like a, even I dare say a 6, 8-ish. Like he's playing in there rather than playing like his left back spot. And he's doing really well with it. And honestly, you could tell when he sat out the difference it makes when he's on the left and when he's not. But you had said you knew that we were going to lose, by the third goal?
Certainly the third goal. I mean, the second goal, I was like, damn, we might lose. And it was only 3 minutes in that. Then we were down 3-1. I was like, yeah, take that
So
out.
I'm fairly certain if you go back and replay the tape, I said that this was our trap game. And I said this is the one we were going to lose. Mm-hmm. So I'm not saying I'm a Nostradamus, but, might as well call me Jose Mourinho because I'm the special one over here.
You got it. I'm getting my Nostradamus moment when we bring up the news. You hit me up why I didn't respond in like 2 hours because I was just balls deep in the movie theater watching Dune 2. But great call, buddy. I mean, hey, like Montreal is a sneaky team. We know that you do have an affinity in your heart for the Quebecians, Quebecois. Oh, I learned something today. I love it.
There you go.
Here's the thing, right? This was classic Inter Miami style game. Dominate possession, over 57%. Passes, 582 to 389. Controlled the game, but in contrast to what was happening with us in the Orlando game, where it seemed like everything was working, we could do no wrong. Every pass was connecting. Every attack was successful. This was actually the quite opposite. We really couldn't get anything going. And then Montreal seemed like they couldn't do anything wrong. 4 shots on goal and 3 goals converted. And to not really control the possession or the play in a dominant manner, but still be that lethal on the counterattack. They were causing some problems on the back line. And obviously the 4-3-3 worked out so well for us, right? But we go back to the system that has not traditionally been a winner for Inter Miami.
Well, and getting into that back line, I would say issues, I would really like personally if the Sergei hate would stop, because yes, he had some rough moments in that Montreal game, but he also recovered on 95% of those rough moments, and quite frankly, stopped 2 of those would-be goals early on, which would have put us, up shit creek without a paddle. He redeemed himself to a point in games that we're going to talk about here in a few minutes, but he was not as bad as the Gen Pop fan base would make you believe, because he still had control of the moments that were directly in front of him. He's not the elite caliber defender that you would think the fans would want him to be. He's not going to be able to run, 40 yards back and keep pace, right? He's going to have issues when it comes to making the quick flip of the hips and having to track down or stay in front of somebody on a fast break opportunity. But he did well. He honestly did well. I know that I might catch some flack for this, but I think he did well, besides that last little mess up between him and Drake, where Drake was on the ground and Sergei could have probably stepped in, but it very well could have been 5-6-2.
Yeah. And so the thing that was tough to me is, like, we also could have won this game, right? Like, there was a nice play, beautiful soft pass to a wide open Alba, right? Jordi Alba slots it through the legs of the keeper and was just slightly offsides, right? That would have drew the game up. Or you go back to where Gressel hits a beautiful through ball for Robbie Taylor, who chips the keeper, but then it hits the crossbar, and there was, I think, two crossbar incidents in this game. It was a game that was winnable, but it's weird because you come into it with the expectation, okay, like, we're going to rest the starters, right? We're gonna give them a rest. We need them to obviously be ready for Champions Cup, Concacaf Champions Cup. We need to prep that, right? So, Busquets on the bench, Messi on the bench, Luis Suarez on the bench. But there was still, it feels like we still could have at least come out with a point in this game, but, still pretty tough. And there were some uncharacteristic mistakes being made. Like, early in the game, Drake comes out and just misses that header, just misjudges the depth of it, goes right over his head, and then as he's scrambling to get back to the goal, he slips, so he's on the ground. The defenders are now on the line. Luckily, the shot was deflected, and we escaped the catastrophe. But as they say in sports, the ball don't lie, because the ensuing corner from ex-Heron, Ari Lassiter, finds the head of Alvarez to put Inter Miami up. And then I think where a lot of the Sergei hate is happening is almost a very identical play where, Sergei misjudges the header and lets Kukaro in behind him, and Drake comes up with a massive save in that moment. But it's just tough. There were some sketchy moments in that game.
Yeah, I mean, again, we can stop hashing over this match and get on to better times here, but it's like, oh boy, like, I don't know. I was happy with Redondo. I know there's some folks who are like, "Ooh, it's a shaky start." I'm really liking what I'm seeing. We can talk more about that as we talk about Nashville. But the one thing we can say about our loss is at least we didn't lose 4-2 to Tigres or 6-0 to Pachuca. So it's one of those things where, like, hey, we may have lost to Montreal, but at least we didn't get blown out and knocked out of the Champions Cup already. Oh, did I say that? My fault.
Yeah. No, I mean, dude, 100% you're accurate. So, look, we did our service to the club, and we covered the loss. Let's get to the fun stuff. So, just quickly, we don't have to go through both of these games, but pretty intense opening leg on March 7th. Playing in Jodis Park, again, one of the most beautiful parks, I think, in the league. And this was it's always a tough game against Nashville. Obviously, we respect them a ton. We already said that in the episode prior, leading up to this game. But coming out playing away and coming out with a draw, I think, was absolutely massive, right? Game finishes 2-2. We go down 2-0, with just after the first half basically starts, right? Schaffelberg knocks one in the 4th minute and the 47th minute, and then it's up to the classic Inter Miami comeback, which we seem to do so well. Messi scores in the 52nd, and then Suarez gets a nice header in the 95th minute of stoppage time to bring on the draw, which I think was absolutely massive for this club, to not be playing down, to be not only level, but to also have 2 away goals under your belt, right? Because CONCACAF is like the last FIFA sector, if you will, or group that is still doing the home and away goals. So to come up with the draw with 2 away goals put us in a serious advantage here, where we could have drew the match a second leg 0-0 or 1-1, and we still would have won because of the away goals. If it went to 2-2 on a draw, it would have gone to the extra time and to PKs if it was level after that. But luckily, that wasn't even the case. And the 2 players that I certainly want to talk about, and you touched on Redondo, and I agree with you wholeheartedly, right? There's a reason why a lot of clubs in Europe were going after him. His confidence, demeanor, and just the calm nature he has on the ball. I see where everyone is drawing those comparisons to Busquets. His ability to giddy up, get on his feet, take on defenders, even though he's, at least so far from what I'm seeing, kind of more in that defensive mindset, is very, very impressive. The second one that I really want to talk about is Diego Gomez. I mean, playing like a man on fire since coming back from the U23 Paraguayan team, right? Especially last night. And we didn't have to go to extra time or anything like that, right? I mean, we won 3-1. It was absolutely a beautiful night. Rowdy atmosphere, beautiful night. But Diego Gomez is going to be a problem. If he continues to improve like this, he's going to be an absolute problem. Tata was even talking about how he's been playing more defensively, but since the U23 camp, that he's playing in the attack now. And I mean, he can book it too. He's smart. He can create plays, create trouble, then dip out, get wide open, open up the field, the pitch, and then everyone's got to adjust. He's got a lot of great qualities. And RIP to Facundo Farias, we'll probably won't be back for the rest of the season, but I mean, that's 3 stud young midfielders for you that you can really, I think, build a team around. Obviously Busquets, Messi, Suarez, time's limited, but I mean, the future is bright, and we still got, Ben Hameen, we've got Ruiz. Like, for the first time ever, I'm feeling pretty damn confident about what's coming up in the midfield for us right now.
Well, let's not sell Sunderland short either, because he had that beautiful assist. Absolutely can't leave Lawson out of that.
100%. Correct.
Yeah. You know what? The first thing I thought of in the second leg against Nashville when I saw Redondo on the ball was, he's absolutely like a hot knife through butter. He is so smooth on that ball. And he does warrant, as you already touched on, he does warrant the comparisons to the younger Busquets. And it's almost eerily similar, where you've got the same turns, the same stutter stop, the same just gliding up the field. It's absolutely gorgeous to watch him run on the ball and then pull the trigger. Gomez, he's absolutely filthy. His footwork has improved tenfold. Watching him run up the side and just dirty dance past people, putting baby in the corner, like, it was absolutely gross, and I loved every minute of it. Bring it on, but to your point, I don't want to go negative here. My concern is post Messi, Suarez, Busquets, the whole 9, right? We are going to need to find an out-and-out attacker, because we showed a lack of teeth once Messi went out, and once Suarez gets tired, we're not really. I don't want to sound like I'm slandering Campana, because I'm not. I love Leo, I really do, but Suarez
took a knock, and everything changed for sure.
Yeah, we're going to need to find that. So to me, Leo's like a poacher. Leo's got that poacher striker roll down for me. We got to find that all in all, out and out attacker who's going to be able to dribble past 6-7 people in the box and slam one home. Robbie is so afraid right now to pull the trigger on some of these. I wish he would just show that same mentality he had last year, where he would just rip it and then ask for apologies later.
What he showed in the Montreal game, because there was no Messi and no Suarez.
Yeah, like keep doing that. I don't know how many times I need to keep saying this. Somebody be selfish. And Gomez, cool. If you're gonna dribble past all those people, rip it. I have no care. I have no care in the world. Jordi Alba, again, rip it. You've proven yourself. But like,
pass the ball to the Italians. Pass the ball to the Italians.
You can't see me because my camera's not working, but I'm doing the Italian hands over here.
I can.
But
Such a great movie.
Absolutely. Hey, let's touch on one thing talking about Nashville. What did you make leading up to the second leg of all the Messi McNaughton hype?
Messi is the best player of all time, but he's just a player. He is a player on Inter Miami, just as anyone else is. I don't think it was a quote unquote dirty play. I think that was a classic football play. I think McNaughton, probably knew what he was doing, but it wasn't overtly like over the top. The problem is, I think so many people are such, and no disrespect to Messi, is the greatest of all time, but there's a lot of Messi fanboys out here, who no, don't hurt my man. It's like, bro, he's a professional athlete. He's going to play in games, and this is what you subject your body to when you're playing in a game. I don't think it was anything over the top. I honestly have no issue with it. And look, if you're any other player in the MLS that's not playing on Inter Miami and you're getting to go up against Messi and you get to go up against Suarez and you got a chance to get one up on them, you're going to take that. I mean, you already see it's like, several games now where Messi's getting little, chirping matches with players, players being aggressive towards him, but he's being back. This is the sport. This is what we love. And on top of anything and everything, ladies and gentlemen, this is Concacaf. All right, this is what we do. That's what I got.
Listen. Generally, you and I align pretty well on most things. However, I am going to 110% go against you on this. And I'm not a Messi fanboy. I do like him. I do. You know that. But we have seen challenges of lesser impact on a body part be carded or be a send-off. We have seen cleats on feet and just a subtle turn of the individual stepping on the other individual, and it's been a review and a red card and out. To me, McNaughton knew what he was doing, and he was thinking of the second leg coming up. That's my personal opinion. He learned his lesson. And Nashville started posting all these photos. He's just Lucas. He's just Lucas. Well, guess what? He's just Lucas, and he's out of the Concacaf Champions Cup because Messi had the final word when it was all said and over.
Fair enough. And to a degree it worked, right? Again, Tata said it was a planned rest match rather, for the Montreal game. But definitely saw some pictures of Messi with ice taped around his kind of lower calf area, ankle. So, I mean, there was certainly an effect there. I don't know. I'm not gonna freak out like it's the evilest play, most evil play. Grammar's always off. And look, there was a free kick last night, right, where Messi was over that ball, and he probably could have put it in the top right corner, but instead he aimed it directly at McNaughton's face and hit him. So all is fair and love and footy is what I always say. But hey, now we're gonna see what's going on because I guess we'll just kind of spoil it right now. In the post game press conference, Tata was obviously the first question right coming up was just about Messi and was it a planned sub because he came off 50th minute, 5 minutes into the second half. So he has an overload in the right posterior. They didn't want to really risk it. They tried to see if he can go a little longer, but they preferred to take him out of the game. Playing it safe, and that all makes sense. So let's see how far he's out, right? Tata also said that he's most likely going to miss I didn't even realize all the typos on that tweet I put out. Oh my God. Don't even judge me.
It was bad. It was really bad.
I'm surprised you didn't catch that and tell me I'm an idiot.
I did, but it was too late.
It's all right.
Yeah.
He's going to miss the DC United game. You already discussed, at least you and I were texting last night, or and I think a few days earlier than that, expected to miss the Red Bulls game, Argentina games coming up. There's a solid chance we're not going to see Messi until March 30th when we play NYCFC. So something to keep an eye on. Luckily, I don't believe I've got to look at the CONCACAF schedule, home away games, all that stuff when it's released. What we're waiting on right now, again, kind of jumping all over the place here, but screw it. 3-1 win. So we are waiting to see the results of the FC Cincy and Monterrey game, and Monterrey is winning 1-0 on aggregates. That obviously being an away game. First leg was in Cincinnati. Now Cincinnati's had to go to Monterrey, go into Mexico for the second leg, being down 1. So it's looking like it's going to be Monterrey. Mexico is a very hard place to play for a lot of MLS teams. As we saw, a lot of these teams get absolutely destroyed in their legs in Mexico.
So real quick before we move on, I want to touch base on one thing, and it's one thing I'm tired of hearing. And it's you cannot go to these matches on the assumption that you're going to see one player. You have to stop assuming that you're going to see Messi every single game. That is just a fact. I looked at the schedule this year. It's no secret. I go to every DC, Red Bull. I care not to go back to Yankee Stadium, but I will if I have to, and Subaru Park for Inter Miami while they're around. I will go to the matches to see my team over one individual. Okay? The team is still competing. So don't be upset if an aging superstar does not play. I am very well aware that some folks, this is their only chance to see Messi and they get upset. But it is risk and reward. Do I drop $300 and go see him play, which I still think is absurd, and I will hold that stance until the day I die?
I won't argue.
Or will I sit at home and watch it on TV? It's one of those things that you're just going to have to roll the dice. We still have fantastic talent out there. And I know that I'm probably, starting to get on a rant here, so I'm going to cut myself short. But you have to support the badge and the full product on the field and not be sucked in by the overabundance of fanboys that have taken over since the arrival of Messi. Was I apprehensive that when he was going to join? Yes, we've hashed it over. Go back and listen to our past episodes. I was pissy as a father about the ticket prices and the additional cost it was going to be to go to these games, and the lack of additional tickets. Because let's be honest. Let's talk even 2 years ago. There was no point in buying a ticket early because you could get into a match like an hour before with it, and buy a ticket on Ticketmaster, right? You just. I don't know. I'm really getting tired of hearing of it. And I know I didn't mean to go on such a downward turn, but I was just checking our Twitter real quick, and it's just like Messi off, TV off. Those comments piss me off so much. Support the team. Just support the team. Because some of us have been here for a very long time now, and it's one of those things that just, I don't know. What do you think?
I think that, you're right? I've seen comments online in the ticket group or in the fan groups and stuff where it's like, hey, does anyone know what time the players get to the stadium, or when does Messi get to the stadium? I see people literally following Messi around, trying to track him down in his personal life outside the stadium. These people are absolutely fanatical about him, and I get it, but at the same time, give the man some space. We don't want to make him. A lot of players come over here from Europe so they can have a little bit more of a relaxed life. Don't disrupt this man's life more than you should, because we still have he's here for next year, and then he's got a contract option for the following year. So I want everything to go smooth. But to your point specifically, I think we expected this certainly last year. A lot of fans coming in we don't care about you. We're just here for for Messi and for Suarez. That's all we care about. And I think we were hoping that over time, you follow a player over to a team where you start to fall in love with the team a little bit, or some affections start to grow. So I'm hoping that we'll certainly have more fans in the post-Messi world who replaces, or joins him. Is it potentially Suarez? Is it Mbappe in 2040? Who knows? But it is annoying to the day ones for sure. Club loves it, right? Because the image is bigger than ever. But I feel for you. I just hope that they convert into full-time, or not even full-time, but just start supporting Inter Miami as their MLS team, right? Because everyone's got teams they support in a couple leagues or a few leagues, whatever it is. Someone's got their EPL team, their MLS team. Some people have they'll have a La Liga team and EPL team. You don't want to overdo it, right? You don't want to just like every team, but it's tough, man. I mean, tough for the day ones, but it's expected, I guess. Unavoidable, if you will.
Listen, and it's tough for somebody who, like myself, who doesn't get to go, unfortunately, to every home game, right? I am the one who is rolling the dice every time I take the kids out. Now, there's no secret. We love this team through and through. I don't think Riley goes to school one day without a piece of Inter Miami gear on. Like, it's the team is what we do, right? Mm-hmm. But, like, Kennedy, she is enamored with Messi. Like, she screeches whenever he's on TV, almost to the same level of Rashford, which makes me a little sick, but we'll get past that, all right? But, like, Lucy and I were talking about, all right, well, which game do you want to take the kids to? Obviously, we're going to go see Lewis in New York, right? And her first question was, well, what if Messi doesn't play? And I'm like, well, it doesn't bother me. What does bother me is clubs charging $200 to $300 when, let's be honest, we are all pretty much struggling right now. Like we're not doing too well economically. We're not doing too well as a nation, at least in my opinion. And we can get off this topic because I know it can divulge into 1,000 different things. But I just look forward to the day where we can once again get back to, I'm not saying $40 tickets. That's never going to happen again. But at least make it somewhat more obtainable for the everyday fan, not just the celebrity status.
Yeah, no, I agree. And that seems to just, who was it? Was it Cafecito? I can't remember who it was. Someone said, it's an American sports culture problem. That doesn't exist in European leagues. This absolute insane pricing, right? I mean, capitalism running rampant, I guess, and it's insane. It's just like betting on a sports team, right? You're putting the money up there. There's always a chance you take the L. And I think that a lot of people will be experiencing that as their parents probably bought tickets as fast as they could right when they came out to see Messi. And, again, Tata has stated this over and over. We have stated this over and over. There's going to be several games Messi is sitting out. Buy at your own risk. I feel for you. And someone was up at the Atlanta game, and I forgot who it was, but they were saying these 4 dudes from somewhere in the Middle East bought flights over here. It was $2,500 a person, trip included, right? Flights, lodging, tickets, all that. Go to Mercedes-Benz to try and see Miami when they play, or trying to see Messi when they play Atlanta United, and Messi's out that game, and it's yeah, you feel bad for him, but it's not some devious plan out to get anyone. This is just the way sports work, and considering the amount of games that we're about to be thrown through this season, and we're playing well, so there's a very solid chance we're playing over 60 games this season instead of the standard 40, right? I mean, that's a 50% increase. That is a very large amount of energy, legs that you're giving up. And there's no secret here. The star players on our team are all pretty old. So that, that hits them a little harder, but,
well, I mean, and to that point, it's genuinely shocking to me how many people do not check the Argentina schedule. Right. So I live, close enough to DC where I hear about the DC United stuff, and obviously close enough to Philly because you make it very well known how many times I go to Subaru Park that I hear about the Philly stuff, right? I cannot
big
tell
Carranza
you.
guy here. Okay, he's a big Carranza guy.
Yeah, you know it, big Carranza guy. Hey, so I cannot tell you. Like as soon as you dropped the tweet, and I started texting my one friend who's a DC United fan, the absolute sheer panic that was going through some of these folks trying to get their tickets up to maximize before people realized that Messi wasn't going to be there, right? And then the flip side is the next morning, people are trying to panic sell to get some of their money back because Messi's not going to be there. Mm-hmm. Like, it's absolutely absurd. This is insane. Like, absolutely insane.
And the dynamic pricing Ticketmaster stuff doesn't help it one bit at all.
No, and for those of you, for those of you, real quick PSA, we are not sponsored, but for those of you who are looking for a better ticket experience, Game Time is the one I use, and it is substantially better than Ticketmaster. It looks sketch. I promise you it's not. I've used it for multiple events, including Inter Miami. So there you go.
I buy Panthers tickets through Game Time, so I can shout out Game Time. They're affiliated with SeatGeek as well. Yeah,
and and again, we are not sponsored whatsoever, but it is a seamless transaction. If there's an issue, they're on the phone with you. They make sure they get through the seller. I've gotten some dirt cheap deals. I think I went to the Penn State Michigan game for $200 a seat, and we were 6 rows off the field.
I mean, shit, they can sponsor us. Someone at Game Time get at us. Give us some free ticket system stuff. I like they'll show you the price with like all fees included. So it's not, tickets are $150. I'm buying 2 of them, $300, and you get to the checkout. It's like, here's another $180 in fees. Like everything's there. So, shout out Game Time. Definitely use them. Real quick though, just the highlights of this second leg, right? I mean, the stakes were high. We are expected to do well in these tournaments. It would certainly be embarrassing if we had left in the round of 16. Obviously, we got the bye, so kind of gave us a little bit of a pass there in the first round. But, it opened up immediately, just classic Messi split ball down the middle right to Suarez for just typical Suarez clinical finisher, rather than, shortly after that, it was just another, this is what Messi does. Messi doing Messi things, gets the ball super quick, left foot shot, boom, finds the back of the net. And, and within 23 minutes, we're up 2-0, which, the roof is going off of Chase Stadium at that moment, or I don't know what those half roofs they have or whatever. And then the party kept rolling. I mean, into the 63rd minute, they make some substitutions and everything. Robbie Taylor, who we were just discussing earlier, comes on, and another beautiful Luis Suarez cross. Like, not only can this man kick balls into nets hard as hell, but he can also cross the ball. And another one where it just finds the head, beautifully on the head of Robbie Taylor, slots it right past him. Easy stuff, 3 up. And it's like, that's when you realize, like, there's nothing that can really happen in this game. We're winning. Nothing at all. And, I mean, props to Nashville. They fought hard. They got one in the 93rd minute into stoppage time. They got Sam Surridge back for this match, who is a really hot up-and-coming youngster out of the UK. And that's going to be a pretty nasty attack with him, Schaufelberg, and Hani Mukhtar once they're up to full form. But overall, I mean, like, I was just really impressed. Like, the first half, I was just, everything is, the movement, it's just free-flowing movement, especially on the counterattacks. I mean, absolutely lethal, being able to inflict our will. Sublime passing makes everything look much easier than it is. And the transition play was absolutely spectacular. But really, where I want, if there's one area that I'm going to lay my praise on this team, is that back 3, or you can call it a back 5 if you want to as well. Man, did they finally figure out how to play that correctly. The standard way that we've been seeing them is a very kind of laid back, 5 in between the ball and the goal. Theoretically, our number should be up if we have 5 at the back, but it's just getting in between the ball and the goal isn't enough, because a lot of times they let that play develop in front of them. Overlapping, underlapping runs come in, crosses come apart. Doesn't always work. last night, the aggressiveness the back line showed was so impressive. They weren't waiting for the plays to develop in front of them. They were actively going out. They were hunting to disrupt these plays. They were hunting to intercept passes and crosses, pushing up, making a play, dropping right back into formation. It was very, very impressive to see that step out, do what they need to do, get back in, everything sound, almost sneak out of there with a clean sheet in the second leg against one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference and one of the best teams in the league over the past 5 years. And just another one on top, again, kind of our sister club, right? Both teams were expansion clubs and started in 2020. And even Tata was like, yeah, like it works tonight. I'm not afraid to admit when a system doesn't work, and it hadn't been working that great in the past. They had to make these alterations because we got rid of our right back, our starter, who's, was the captain before Messi came in. We had no real replacement for DeAndre Yedlin. And so now we're trying to work it out. Looks like the Marcus Rojas deal fell through. That Whitehort deal fell through. Probably going to have to pick someone up in the summer transfer windows. What I'm expecting is we're going to be seeing quite a bit of this 5-3-2 moving forward. If they can play like this, if this is the new philosophy where it's don't wait for it to come to you, but go up there and create some trouble, make it hard for them, then we just might have some success. And when you invert that, right, when we can actually flip those backs up, when we can get Jordi Alba up there in the attack, then like we've already seen what happens when Jordi Alba can get up in the attack and says, hey, I'm going to pull the trigger. The good thing here, and what was different than maybe the Montreal game, is Julian Gressel was still in the midfield while we were playing 5 at the back. Now we've got him into his, quote unquote, true position of a right wing back, or where he's been known to have success throughout the league. But when we can invert Gressel and Alba, Gressel's got a very accurate foot. I mean, he would be, if there was no Messi, he'd be the one taking the free kicks. He can take the corners. Alba, we already know about Alba's left foot, man. So you've telling me you've got 2 of the best wingbacks in the league who can connect on plays, passes, crosses, and you invert those, get them up the field, whether you alternate that, whatever it may be. That's how you have success with this. But you have to be cohesive. You have to work together. You have to stay in your line. And it was incredibly impressive on my end. And that was the one glaring takeaway, was that this defense was really stepping up, because Schaffelberg was causing some problems. Bend don't break, and they did exactly what they needed to do. It was very, very amazing to see.
Can we talk about the style of Nashville? And I'm not talking about on the field. I'm talking like wardrobe and hair wise, because Schaffelberg's got that flow. He's got that flow, my man. Like,
he looks like a hockey player.
Yeah, he looks like what he looks like? He looks like a lax bro. He looks like one of the kids back in upstate New York who's out there just slinging the lacrosse ball and stick in the backyard.
Could be. It's that curly mullet, dude, with that little mustache. The dude is rocking it. Xavier was from Lemon City Live was kind of laughing. I was like, dude, I don't know what you're talking about. That is hard. Like that whole look is amazing. I love it.
Dude, and then you've got McNaughton looking like he's trying out for one of the boy bands of the late 90s. And then Willis looks like he's going to tell me about the latest IPA on draft at this microbrew. Listen.
I like Joe Willis. You were rolling on them. Like I respect them, dude. Gary Smith's great. Who was McNaughton, like, looks like Fernando Torres. He's just like a taller. Yeah. Remember when Fernando Torres left footy and then got yoked out of his skull?
Yeah, absolutely. And then he may have been eating those trenbolone sandwiches a little bit there.
Yeah, for sure.
And listen, again, I have nothing but respect for Nashville. All this, if you see me post on social media, it's all in the heat of the game. I actually respect the hell out of Nashville. It's the one rival, and yes, I will say rival. I know there's debate on it. They are our rival. I respect the hell out of them. 110%. I have no problem watching them play and the whole nine if they're not playing our club and it's not playoff or it's not important for us to make the playoffs or vice versa. But that is a squad. That's all I'll say. That is a squad. Hani Mukhtar, I cannot wait to hopefully see him live here in a few weeks, because I am aiming for FanFest 2024 to be for the Nashville
Fan
match.
Fest, not Fan Fest.
Fan
Fan. You got to
FanFest. But yeah, so looking forward, because I'm going to push us forward here, because we always talk about 45-minute episodes, and it's been an hour.
And
so,
it's a team that I feel like you are great at discussing.
I can discuss, yeah. Anyways, listen, we have DC coming up. Boy, what can we say about DC?
We drew them last time. And then we lost to them the time before that. And then the last time we beat them was in 2022. What can you say about Christian Benteke?
He is a nice individual to talk to. We were waiting for Inter Miami to come out after the draw. We were the only Inter Miami fans amongst a bunch of DC United fans, and he came over and actually talked to us for a few minutes. Asked us about the club and asked if my son played and the whole nine. It was a good time. But DC in general this season, it's not been a great start. They are sitting with 1 win and 2 draws. 2 draws come against Portland and a weird 0-0 draw to Cincinnati, which definitely shouldn't have been 0-0 since he's a lot better than that. And then New England, the Revolution, they got a lot of problems. Let's just be honest. They have a lot of problems right now, and they beat them 3-1. So it's going to be interesting to see. There's always that. If Orlando's our rival and Nashville's our rival, DC is definitely up and coming. There's clashes between the supporters groups. There's clashes between the regular fans. There's clashes between the front office, to the point where there's not an allocation for Inter Miami fans from DC to Inter Miami because of the prices they were charging for said tickets. That's just how it is, right? It's always interesting to go there. We don't have our villain of Taxi Fontes there anymore. Finally, they, after another racial incident last year, they finally kicked him out. Rooney's not there as manager anymore. I don't know. It's a weird club to try and talk about in terms of big names and who they've got and who's performing well and who's not. Because
Benteke opened up the season with a hat trick. I mean, he
against New England.
Yeah,
against New England.
That boy, he had a great season last year as well. I mean, that dude's that dude.
Okay, I get that, but Robbie Robinson off the bench could score a hat trick against New England right now.
Yeah, but again, we're gonna be Messi-less. I think this is I expect this to be a decent game. I mean, he held Cincy to a draw. Drew out Portland. Portland's pretty good. It's gonna be a game, man. It's gonna be a game.
You know what? Agree to disagree because I don't see it. It is what it is. What do you think score wise?
Probably like a 2-1. I'm gonna go 2-1 Inter winning. I think there's a lot of things going on that are great in the midfield. I think Gomez and Redondo will continue to step up and see improvement. Obviously, missing Leo, so that will hamper a bit of the connections there. But I think they'll be able to find Suarez and maybe Campana or Taylor, and we can get 2-1. What do you have here, bud?
Knowing that we're going Messi-less, I'm gonna say it's gonna be. I'm gonna say 3-1. I'm gonna say that Robbie continues his hot streak and beats our old boy Christopher McVeigh. Shout out to one of our podcast favorites. McVeigh has been in the starting lineup for DC. I say we're gonna beat them up a bit. I think it's gonna be one of those games that's done early, and that we pull back and think about upcoming games here because we have quite a stretch. After this game, we have Red Bull. So we got Red Bull away, but then NYCFC at home, Colorado at home, KC away, and then Nashville at home, Revolution away. And then in May, I won't go through all of it because it's too far ahead to think. Plus, we know games will be added. We have 5, including a trip to Montreal and Vancouver within 3 weeks of each other. So we every year on the Inter Miami podcast, we always look for the stretch that is going to make or break you. Early on, looking ahead, that stretch is horrendous. That is an absolute got to go Fort Lauderdale, Montreal, Orlando, Fort Lauderdale, Vancouver, and Fort Lauderdale. Like we are bouncing all over again. So
It's gonna be
that's
tough.
gonna be a stretch where we're gonna have to pull out some stops. And I want it to be known that the Orlando match on the 15th of May is a Wednesday.
Okay.
So
And
I don't know.
we're gonna be sprinkling in the Concacaf Champions Cup as well. So again,
And
then
the next, was it the next month or the month after that? It is July.
Leagues Cup.
We sprinkle in Leagues Cup.
Yep.
So
No Open Cup. So maybe is that a positive now? Probably not. I know we're all annoyed about that. And let me tell you what, bud. The Triple C, right? That's what we're gonna call it now. Triple C is not gonna be easy. I mean, it's looking like we're gonna have to go through Monterrey. There's a solid chance we're gonna have to go through Tigres, and then there's a solid chance we're probably gonna run through Pachuca as well. It's going to be a really fun time. We're gonna really test our mettle against in Liga MX, a league with no salary cap, and then we're gonna bring in our well played 3 players and the rest of our capped players. So gonna be exciting times. What did we miss? I think we missed the Moto news, right? We discussed that I think last episode or the episode prior to that with Gregory moving on. We weren't really sure how Moto fit into the picture since they were kind of a package deal together. So a lot of moves have been occurring. We are freeing up quite a bit of cap space, some roster spots as well, and I expect something intriguing to happen in the summer window here. But what were your thoughts on that move?
bye. Like all right, bye. No, like I like Bota. I always gave a lot of shit for his long range shooting, but
I loved him though, dog. He was my pro clubs player.
oh, trust me, I'm very
Except
well
I
aware
actually
of
I would make more than he would, but he would at least try. It's about the try. It's not about making anything. It's about just saying, screw it, I'm gonna have that go.
No, I really wish you would have made a few of those, like quite frankly. But it's interesting because as soon as Botafogo made that move for Mota, they were immediately linked with I think it was a $20 million move for Almada. I was like, oh, okay. Oh, so we're just splashing cash over there. But no, I don't know. I'm going to echo what I've already said, especially after the Edlin move. It's not as prevalent because we have the players to fill the spot that Mota vacated, but we need to start seeing some stop gaps for some of these spots that, like Yedlin's spot, because we probably could have used him a tiny bit. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I know that one. That one, I think, probably upset a lot of people. But, hey, when you wrote, like, we're no longer, a 4-2-3-1. We're no longer running a double pivot. We're no longer running the system. We bought those 2 Brazilians to come in and play. And I mean, me, dog. Everyone knows me. If you've listened to this podcast for any significant amount of time, I want to see as many Brazilians as I can possibly see in my life. And it just didn't make sense for the system. He wasn't playing a lot. He obviously was battling back from some injuries as well. And it's easier to take that when you see Diego stepping up, you see Redondo stepping up, Karmashki's been great. Ruiz has been great. Facundo Farias will be back eventually, and I mean he's been great. So, I think it was the right move to make the appropriate moves down the road. And
so, on that note, sorry not to cut you off, I actually have a fear that is growing consistently week by week. I think.
Is it a Chinese drone swarm?
No. I welcome that. That'd be okay. I fear that Robbie Taylor is going to be out of here soon.
I think probably Campana before Taylor. He's just benefited so much and he's been playing so great. What's going to hurt me is when Campana gets shipped off because he needs more time than that. He's got to find himself in a consistent groove. Taylor, at least I say, is getting a lot more minutes while his value has increased significantly since Messi and the homies came over. I hope that is a false fear of yours, buddy, because that would hurt a lot of the fan base.
Listen, I lost Lewis. If I lose Robbie, I'm going to be really upset, like genuinely. But like you got to think about it. We're looking to make moves. He is a hot commodity right now. He's playing lights out. Absolutely playing lights out. It only makes sense if we're moving people like Mota and Yedlin and Gregory. Like, why wouldn't they entertain an offer for Robbie?
Maybe for the right offer, but look, I've been saying this a little bit recently. Like, the key to unlocking Inter Miami, you can bring on as many young players, old players from Europe, from South America, Central America. Don't give a damn. Bring whoever you want, whatever nationalities, whatever backgrounds, I don't care. But just we have to have one white dude who's a midfielder who can hit him from deep, who is from a country where it's really cold most of the year. Lewis was the initial. Robbie Taylor is the second. So if he goes, and we're going to have to go, I don't know, scout the Danish league or something, or get back over to the Scottish league. Like, that is the one thing that will unlock this team, and I'm going to stand on that hill.
We have, when they come up north, we have like 99% of the team in parkas, and then the one crazy guy out there shirtless with his gloves on.
Yeah, Robbie Taylor is the guy who wears shorts in the wintertime.
Well, that's kind of a targeted attack. I'm kind of offended, sir. But,
is that you?
Yeah, that's
my
me.
Strength coach in high school.
Yeah, no, that's totally me. But listen, again, like I said, I don't want it to be true, but it's starting to grow more and more. We see how the team's shaping out. We know that eventually we're going to need to make some other moves, and if they can make money off of him, that's going to be the one individual who is. And I'm like containing my vomit as I'm saying this, but quote unquote expendable. Because he's been coming off the bench, right? So why, if someone comes in and says like, hey, we want Robbie Taylor for, I don't know, 20, and I know I'm throwing a lot at this, right? He's not worth Almada money, but like, let's say 15 million, wow. 10 million.
I mean, yeah, maybe 5 million. Maybe, dude, I
right.
don't know. Maybe
No,
million.
but you hear what I'm saying. Right now he's playing with Messi, so Robbie's a baller. He is an absolute baller.
Stock's up with Messi.
But stock is up, and some team, if they come in wanting to overpay, there's no way we keep Robbie.
Well, look, the team is going to have to free up at least one international spot. And they're probably going to need to free up at least one winger midfield, because there's a very high chance, potentially even next season, that there's a player coming whose name happens to rhyme with Jamar.
Boo.
And I'll tell you what, I do love Robbie. We'll find another Scandinavian if we have to, because I'll take Neymar in Miami all day long. That would make me very, very happy.
I'm just going to put this on the record. I will fight you.
Yeah, whatever. Why do you hate Neymar? What Neymar do to you?
No, it's just if I'm picking Neymar or Robbie Taylor, I'm sticking with my white Scandinavian brother.
Yeah, well, all right. Fair enough. Agree to disagree. I'm going to be the realist in this situation, though. What's the socials, buddy?
I'm not. No, you tell them what the socials is. We're fighting now.
At Enter MIA Podcast for Twitter. And at IMPC_2020 for Instagram. Than did make a TikTok. Let's just get it out there. Than did make a TikTok, so we appreciate his efforts. That's about to get banned by the United States government, so that was short-lived, but it's the thought that counts. And yeah, go follow us on there if you don't. Cover all the fun stuff. Stay tuned, because like it or not, we're probably going to be live fairly soon, but exciting times ahead. By the time you're listening to this podcast, you will already be able to hit your ESPN app or type it on the Google interwebs and look up the final score of the Cincinnati and Monterrey second leg. We'll find out who we're playing in the next round of the Triple C. But as always, vamos, Miami.
I'm really still mad at you, but vamos, Miami.